The Mandalorian Season 3 is really starting to come together ahead of the February 2023 release date. Recently, Katie Sackhoff confirmed that reshoots were going ahead, and generally speaking, as fans, we cannot wait for the next 8 chapters of this ongoing story. Well, today, my dear friends, we have another interesting tidbit. On Instagram, on her Instagram story, Emily Swallow shared that she's currently doing ADR for Season 3. In other words, she is recording overlay dialogue for the scenes where the armor appears. For those not familiar, ADR stands for Automated Dialogue Replacement, and this is the process of recording or re-recording actors' dialogue in a quiet environment during post-production for the sake of clarity. So that's what she's doing, and it's a great update. We love hearing that post-production is going well, and any news from Emily herself is always welcome. The armor was a fan favourite right from the outset, right from when she first appeared in Season 1, and even though she doesn't feature at all in Season 2, she played such a huge role in the Book of Boba Fett, and as Emily's told us herself, she's going to play an even larger role in the 3rd season. At Star Wars Celebration earlier in the year, Emily Swallow teased that while she expelled Din from the tribe, there could be forgiveness on the horizon. Having said that, there's a slight problem. In some of the exclusive footage shown at Celebration, we hear the armourer say that Din can't atone on Mandalore because the living waters were destroyed. Maybe there's another way for him to atone if that's the path he chooses. I've wondered many times in the past if meeting Bo-Katan in Season 2 and encountering other Mandalorians in Season 3, as he will do, is going to alter his perception of the strict rules of the tribe. We've spoken about that many times on the channel. But whatever the case, the mysterious armourer has always been a central component of this story, and I can't wait to see where it goes. And so now, my dear Mandalorians, we have some more news for the Andor series, and I say more news because, as you may have seen in yesterday's update, we covered tons of new comments from Denise Goff, Tony Gilroy, Carl Soler, and Diego Luna, but today we have another dose of Star Wars Andor, and we begin with an update for the Rogue One re-release. As you're probably aware at this point, on August the 26th, for one night only at select IMAX cinemas, Rogue One is being re-released along with some unused footage for the Andor series. Well, thanks to Fandango's website, we now know that the Andor portion of the screening is 9 minutes long, so fans who are lucky enough to get tickets for this viewing are going to be treated to nearly 10 minutes of unused Andor footage before the show even comes out, nearly 1 month ahead. So staying on the subject of Andor, we also have some new comments from Tony Gilroy, who recently sat down with Total Film. Now so far he's had so much to say on the show, and the general consensus from a lot of fans is that he enjoys stirring the pot a bit. He went into this show with one goal, to tell the story he needs to. That's all he cares about, and in so many ways that's amazing. He comes across sometimes in interviews as the kind of guy who'd tell you if you don't like it, then tough tackies, and his general attitude towards this show has made me really excited for it. He's got a lot of confidence in this show, and we should too, and this signature Gilroy attitude is plain and simple in the new interview. When talking about what we can expect Cassian to be like in Season 1, he said the following: "Cassian's empty, he's disappointed, he's desperate, he's turning into that person you don't want to see coming at you down the street. Will it be tricky then for audiences to warm to Andor at first? I hope so," replies Gilroy, so he's not afraid to make us uncomfortable. And even though he replies as an eccentric creative, I have a lot of trust in him. I think Andor is going to be an absolute W. Now that's not all Tony Gilroy said. He also addressed some of the locations that we're going to see in the show. Now before I go ahead and read you the quote, I want you to bear in mind that as the director, as the showrunner of the series, he's got to play coy and can't reveal spoilers, and obviously he's not going to reveal anything big, so take what he says with a pinch of salt, and I'll tell you why afterwards. So he said, all of the planets in Andor are going to be ones that audiences have not seen before, aside from Coruscant. Both Coruscant and Ferrix will be visited throughout the entirety of Season 1. Now aside from it appearing in the teaser and the full trailer, I was first told about the involvement of Coruscant about a year ago. It's not just going to be in the present timeline, although that's the majority of it, but there are also going to be some flashbacks. One person who would like to stay anonymous who's seen the first 4 episodes has told me there are a lot of great surprises on Coruscant in the show, ones that do justice to the prequel trilogy, so keep that in mind. I don't know too much else about this, but by the sounds of things, we might get another Order 66 flashback. That'd be insane. But Tony Gilroy is saying Coruscant is the only familiar planet in this show, and to a large extent, that's really exciting. We get to see new locations, we want to be taken to some new worlds, show us different parts of the galaxy, different species, obscure factions of the rebels, the Empire, and so on. And to that extent, I think the Andor series, above all the shows we've had so far, is going to do the most in terms of world building. But do take what Tony Gilroy said with a pinch of salt, because inevitably I think some planets will come into it. There were rumours of Utapau, eventually I think we might see Yavin 4, and other planets that could be relevant to this series, so we just don't know. But new planets are always welcome. And so now, my dear Mandalorians, there is once again hope for the KOTOR remake. This is from Bespin Bulletin, and it's got a lot of fans excited. So they say recent comments from KOTOR remake publisher seems to confirm reports of project moving studios, but no delay expected. Just last month, Bloomberg reported that the highly anticipated KOTOR remake, being developed by Aspire Media and published by the Embracer Group, had been delayed indefinitely, following the firing of both the video game's art director and design director, and an unsuccessful demo presented to Sony Interactive and Lucasfilm. The reports added that some developers at Aspire believe that Saber Interactive, a developer brought on earlier in the year to assist Aspire Media, could take over development as Aspire moved on to other projects. But today, new comments from Embracer Group seem to back up the initial report. Though the publisher did not reference Knights of the Old Republic specifically, their comments line up with the details in the report. CEO of the Embracer Group, Lars Wingefors, mentioned that one of their titles recently shifted studios. In his own words, he said, one of the group's AAA projects has transitioned to another studio within the group. This was done to ensure the quality bar is where it needs to be for the title. And here's the big bit, we're not expecting any material delays for the title based on this transition. As Star Wars fans, as fans of KOTOR, and of course the upcoming remake, this is the best news we could have. So it might still hit the release aim of 2024 or 2025, but Bespin Bulletins say, either way, fans should not expect the title for another 2 to 3 years at least, given the circumstances and the fluid nature of game development, so let's see what happens, but this definitely is good news. So before I go, my dear friends, as I've been doing occasionally, there is a treat at the end of this video, a bonus video if you will, so stick around to watch that. But with that said guys, that brings us to the end of this Star Wars news update. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, share your thoughts down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg. Have a good one. Hey guys, it's me again. So in this bonus video, I want to talk about this comic, one of my favourite comics in the recent Disney Star Wars, Shattered Empire. So this was marketed as the Journey to the Force Awakens, part of that big publishing initiative where they release novels and comics that kind of bridge the gap between Episode 6 Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. Now, what I love about this comic book is that it takes place literally right after the Battle of Endor. So the minute Return of the Jedi ends, this is where the comic picks up. There's some really exciting stuff in it. Now, the reason I bring this up is because we've been talking a lot in the fandom about Princess and the Scoundrel. It came out the other day and gives a canon version of Han and Leia's wedding, their honeymoon, and so on. But there are a lot of connections to Shattered Empire. Now, one of the things I absolutely love about this comic is a proper look at Operation Cinder, basically part of Palpatine's contingency plan. In his mind, the Empire was not worth being around, and a big plot he had was to take down Naboo, which of course he tried to do, but our heroes, the rebellion, basically got in the way, and they were able to salvage Naboo. It's just kind of really cool and ties the whole saga together to have what happens after Episode 6 take place, where Episode 1 did. We also get to meet the new Naboo Queen, Queen Saruna, and there's a really cool moment at the Royal Palace where Princess Leia senses something cold in the Force, and then we have Maul's eyes, almost as though she could sense what Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan sensed all those years ago. Some really awesome tie-ins, but that's not even the best bit. As I mentioned, Operation Cinder. We also get to meet Poe Dameron's parents, which is a nice tie-in to The Force Awakens, Kez Dameron and Shara Bay. There's so much to love about this comic. We also find out a bit about, you know, Han and Chewie's plans to go and rescue the Wookiees on Kashyyyk to liberate them. And I must say, for a Disney comic in this era, this one is very much worth the read. This is issue number 1, but there were a total of 4 of them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and may the Force be with you always.